at Target,
Merit Line, Tiger Direct, Leg.
Some are
watch,
good, some
watch for sales.
Some are less good, but it's just something. It's an external battery. You plug your phone into it, and oh, okay, I'm charging again. Especially for those items.
Extension cord or power strip if you're reliant on lights. Yesterday the lighting in the artist alley wasn't good, so I had this little portable natural daylight lamp that I was using to do commissions in. But it's battery powered, so unfortunate. But I know there are people who sell like rave gear, for example, and they'll have like Christmas lights or like strobe lights up to better present what they're selling. Because when you're kind of selling a lifestyle too. You want to put the idea in people's head that they can fit your products into their life.
Yeah. Do be careful though. Some conventions will charge for power, and that's usually because the hotel charges for power.
Yeah. Also because there's a limited number of tables that have power access anyway, and the only fair way to divvy that up is either first come first serve by request or by paying for it.
You'll probably also want trash paper to write stuff down, whether it's sticky notes or whatever. A notebook for transactions.
Actually, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I have a book and I left it at the table because I'm terrible. But it is just like a yay big book. I write down everything I sell for how much I sold. I write down everything's commission info, and it's just keeping a record.
I handle it differently. I have a commission notebook that's on a little clipboard so I can hand it off to my customers so they can give me their information. And I have a little pocket notebook for recording sales of ready-made things. And that's how I can easily fill commissions and easily replenish my stock.
But then I also keep track of like all the things I spent for food. It's easier than keeping the receipts because there's more paper. Everything I've spent ordering stuff or making stuff, how much I spent like in Michael's, Joann's, whatever. And then like how many miles I traveled. By the way, those are all tax write-offs. If you do your taxes through someone, they'll be able to help you with that. Again, we're not tax professionals, but just keep track of it is the point.
Yeah. I used to be better about keeping a receipt book, and now I have a receipt dump folder.
Yeah.
All con receipts go in the dump folder, and I deal with it in April.
Yeah. Too much effort to keep the receipt. Well, I keep them, but I write it down as well because that's easier. Scissors and Band-Aids. You'll need them. Scissors definitely.
You always need scissors. Band-Aids, not so much.
Yeah. Flash drives. I have a flash drive with like copies of my files. So if I like really do run out of stuff and it's been so good that I should make some more stuff.
That was last year for you.
Yeah. Go to Office Depot, get some more stuff printed. If you want something to eat at the con and you don't want to pay outrageous prices, or if
look, you're going to be stuck at your table, especially if you're doing it by yourself. And we would all love to eat a hot meal in the middle of the day and take a break, but that's not feasible. So bringing small snacks to tide you over keeps you from passing out, keeps you from getting low blood sugar shakes, it keeps you from being a grump like me.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to bring something that's like peanut butter because it's high in sugar, protein.
If you can have that, but there are also people in the alley who may be allergic. So,
stuff like granola bars, Gatorade because it's luscious electrolytes. We bring caffeine because we're terrible.
I started bringing Soylent because I don't have time to eat, and my boyfriend is a huge nerd, and he bought a bunch of Soylent, and it's been working okay.
But then we'll also go out usually in the evenings for a big dinner. And you want to locate, especially if it's a strange city you've never been to, you want to locate ahead of time where a bank is in case you do need more change, where print shops might be, restaurants that you might want to visit, hotel, whatever transportation you're using, or if you're going to need to pay for parking or park somewhere weird. Corner drugstores in case you forget everything. I forget things every year, so it's just, you will.
We jokingly refer to that as the sacrifice to the con gods so that we may have a good convention this year. Mm-hmm. They take it as a good omen when only one thing is forgotten. Yeah. Because it's usually more than one thing.
But just having it ahead of time in mind where those things are, so you're not in the dark trying to get to your convention being like, I missed my turn, I don't know where we're going. Especially if you're alone in the car with your GPS and it's telling you, GPS signal lost, or turn left, there's no left turn. Planning and timelines, we kind of talked about this a little bit before, is you want to consider going in a group. You do have to plan way in advance. Like we said, it's a year, 6 months sometimes is you'll be planning this stuff out. I'm terrible. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I paid for the table, and I'm not going to think about it again until like 2 weeks prior. Yeah.
A month later is okay. Once you've got your table booked and paid for, once you have your hotel booked and paid for. And a caveat, in the timeline, if your convention offers a con block, you should consider taking it and filling it for 2 reasons. One, you're going to be staying in the con hotel, which is makes doing the con as an artist so much easier than like driving back and forth, because sometimes I get really overwhelmed and I need to take like a 10-minute break with nobody bothering me. Con hotel's perfect for that. Also, filling the con block helps the con. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with was it DashCon?
I think so.
DashCon, that fiasco where they wanted $17,000 after the convention had started, it's because they didn't fill their con block and their hotel was putting pressure on them to come up with a difference.
By the way, I was there. I can tell you terrible stories. Actually, there's a third reason, and I forgot it.
For the con block,
Yeah.
cheaper.
Oh, yes, cheaper. Generally, they'll have a con block, and it actually is a reduced rate from whatever.
For example, the hotel that MechaCon is held in every year is a Hilton on Canal Street in downtown New Orleans, which means the rooms are $300 a night. The con block is $125.
Yeah.
And it's the same rooms. And I used to think I don't want to book the con block because I don't want to be on the rave floor. I don't want to be on the floor where people are coming in at 3 in the morning screaming. And sometimes you do get stuck with people like that, but most of the time the con block is pretty quiet, and sometimes you can even request to be put on the floor with the parents if you're old like us.
And then at the same time, we've had ones where we were requested not to be put with the con block, and we instead got a bunch of Little League kids.
That was the worst.
And their parents running around and screaming in the hall at 6
and
in the morning.
Super
and just
rude
the
to the anime
awful,
attendees.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I love kids. These kids are brats.
That's Southeast Louisiana for you.
Again, we've talked about this stuff is know your schedule. Ahead of time, you probably want to set up at least once to kind of see this is how it's all going to fit on my table, so you're not stuck there like, okay, I've got things, and this isn't working the way I thought it was going to. You want to, before every convention, I do a lot of conventions a year, you want to take your inventory, get reprints done, unless you're trying to phase something out. You want to have change. Square or PayPal or Amazon card readers are fantastic.
But you need internet access.
Or a smartphone.
Or a smartphone that gets good internet signal. Like in MTAC this year, I'm having trouble running transactions because my internet, my AT&T is not working in that hotel. And some hotels will put up, they put up like interference to affect your cell phone signal, so you'll purchase wireless. Just kind of keep that in mind. It's really awful. It's kind of shady, but
it's actually illegal.
Good to know.
They actually had an issue with that over at Opryland. So if you notice that they're doing that, you should say something and make them stop.
Another issue though is if you're in the basement. That way, because we did a con in a Ramada and they had us in the basement and there was no cell phone signal, and it wasn't because they even put repeaters up to help us out.
No, they're running interference. That's illegal. If you're in the basement, sorry.
Yeah. Also, buildings that are made of cement blocks you cannot get signal in there at all. And then you also just want to, post ahead of time, usually a couple weeks ahead of time that you're going to be at this show. Whether you post like MTAC's Facebook group, what's up? So saying, yeah, we're here, we're going to be here. Tag your MTAC, and I'm very excited. So this is Becca.
Get on the table.
Her setup. I sometimes just set it out on the floor to kind of know, these are things that are going to be on the table. Business stuff, your favorites. Now we're at the how much to charge. So I'm sure we'll be answering many questions. Every artist is going to disagree on this. There's no like perfect formula that says, well, this is how much it costs to print it, plus how much time I spent on it, plus how much the materials were to make it in the first place.
And that's a great basis, but you're still dealing with perceived value and what the crowd is willing to pay. Like I have a ban on Louisville cons and Ohio cons because for me and the art I make, they are not willing to pay what I'm charging, which is not an exorbitant price. They're either expecting different or they're expecting cheaper, and I don't want to haggle with them. So I just don't do those conventions because I don't ever make my money back.
Right. You also have to think about travel costs, like how much you're paying for the hotel, how much you're paying for your food, how much you're paying for your gas.
Your time spent driving, whether you like driving that much.
So if you're only selling a bunch of like $2 items, but you're making $1 off of each of them, yeah, you might wind up making a lot of sales. You're not really making your money back because you can't really charge a whole lot for those buttons.
That's right.
And that's never going to cover, I think, your travel costs.
So that was my problem the first 2 years I was doing cons, is that like all of my sales were small sales, and the profit margin on all of those small sales was great, but I had to rely on nonstop mini sales in order to make any kind of money.
For me, it's print artists. I will tell you this: having a bunch of prints, that's why people have them, is great. You might pay $1 for them, you sell them for 10, 15 bucks. And I mean, you pay $1 for them, but you also spend a lot of time working on them. So it's not like you're just
but then they're useful for the next 2 years or however long the fandom is popular.
Right. So you've got, this thing that is $1 to print, you're making $9, $14 off of.
This is why Heidi makes twice as much money as I do.
But that all goes back to traveling, to hotel, to paying for food. So I'm actually just making back most of, and the other thing is, because I have those that are high margin items, the stuff that I can sell for $3, I can sell for $3 because I'm making it back when I sell the more expensive stuff. Or I have books that I pay $13 to $15 to get each. I sell them for $25, but it took years to make that book. So I'm not getting a whole lot of profit margin off that. I'm getting it from the posters.
Right. And prints don't work for everybody. Prints don't sell for me, like at all. Like, I don't make any money doing prints, so I just don't. I have a few up for like, whatever, but I don't expect them to sell necessarily.
Yeah. Again, like if you guys have specific pricing questions, we can try to answer them.
We can tell you what we do and what we've seen. I will always refer you to How to Be a Con Artist, and I will always refer you to AANI, just so that you can get a better feel. In different parts of the country, you can sell things at different prices. The book I sell at my table for $15 could sell for $25 in New York, just because they're used to paying for more for things and they have more expendable income. In Louisiana, Louisiana's very, very broke. So but I know that going into it. So like, it's always like very small commissions, but the crowds are just
and it is when you deal with a slightly older crowd, either college, post-college, usually they're going to pay a little bit more because they're older. They kind of say, okay, I know that you spent time on this. Younger kids, and I love teenagers.
Mid to late high school is good to me.
Yeah, but sometimes it'd be like, what's the cheapest thing I can take?
Oh,
I got $3
wow,
left.
yeah. I get so many 12-year-olds who are like, $1 for a button, but I have 50 cents. And I used to feel sorry for them, and now I'm like, nope, not my problem. Have a business card, enjoy the con.
I was gonna say, you'll learn to manage money someday. It's not
free.
Right. No, not free, 50 cents.
It's also, I was going to say, it's also great when shows, and this is something you can't control, but when shows, the artists all kind of price their stuff the same, because that means you're not being like, oh, that guy's got this Attack on Titan fan art is $5 versus your Attack on Titan fan art is 15. And they don't always say like, oh, yours looks so much nicer. They might just be like, oh, $5, I want that.
Well, what it usually comes down to is somebody's selling 5 for $25, and somebody needs to buy a present for all of their friends, and they know what the fandoms are, but they don't necessarily follow the show, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. So this is just something you can't control, but it's great when the artists kind of all price them pretty similar. But don't drop your prices to match someone else's if you're going to be starting losing money on it.
Well, then you're stuck in this downward spiral where you're constantly Walmarting your prices lower and lower.
Yeah, I've obviously set my prices. I made those last year; they have not changed. But it's just like, here's my size. And then we talked about keeping track of everything. We did talk about this some, is keeping track of your expenses. Keeping track of what sells, keeping track of how much you're making. And that can be hard when you're doing it by yourself. You've got commissions, you've got 4 people who are like trying to hand you money at the same time. And because it never is like, 1 person at a time. It is 4 people at a time or nobody.
No, it's the barnacle who wants to chat for 4 hours because they're bored, and then someone who actually wants to buy something from you is being polite.
And then there's things that you can and can't control at conventions that we're going to make them a good con or a bad con. You can never control convention attendance. You can kind of know ahead of time if it's a usually well-attended con. And we suggest before you ever like table at a con,
Google
go
it,
into it.
and don't just go to their website. Like, try and find reviews from other artists, ask around.
And having a large crowd doesn't necessarily equal sales. You can have a large stingy crowd, and you can have a small spending
Really
crowd.
excited that you're their crowd, and they're awesome because then you get to hang out too.
You can't control who your neighbor's with. You can't, or what other artists are doing. What's up?
How do you deal with the ones that like really tick you off? Because I think I said I'm a shy person, but there's always gonna be that one guy who's gonna ask, "Why are you a girl at this or that or stuff like that?" I'm like, I'm shy, but I also have rage issues.
Yeah, I wish I could say once they cross that line of being really rude, you should be really rude back. But it's getting to the point now where I just involve staff. If they're getting really annoying, and like, okay, I was at this con and this guy would not stop hitting on me, and like he was negging all my work but trying to pick me up, and I couldn't get rid of him. He was there for 4 hours, and I couldn't leave my table because I needed to watch it, and I was waiting for someone to come relieve me. And what I really should have done, I really should have gone and gotten staff, because that con had a no tolerance policy for that kind of thing.
And most cons are very good about that, and the staff will help you. By the way, if you need to find MTAC staff, they have the circular badges.
It does not say exhibitor.
No, it's a different color. You also can't control what the con is doing that year or in that location where you're located inside the con. I've been in basements before. I've been in hallways. I've been, right next to the dealer's room. I've been a mile and a half, literally, away from the dealer's room and main events. That was ASEN back in 2005. You can't control the weather, like tornadoes.
What's up?
On Sundays, some artists do this and sometimes don't. What would you base whether doing it or not doing, like sale prices on Sunday to get rid of things?
If you're doing it to get rid of things and not to just make quick sales, that is your prerogative. Go for it. I put stuff on sale, but I don't offer Sunday sales personally, and that's partially because a lot of my work is commission based. So like that shouldn't. The amount of time I'm going to spend on your commission isn't going to be reduced because I put it on sale.
It does kind of depend on if you're like, oh, well, I really want to come home with an empty suitcase. Because honestly, anything you don't sell, you can just sell at another con. But if you're not going to another con and you want to get rid of it,
Get rid of it on sale. If you want to put it on sale Saturday night, put it on sale Saturday night.
If you want to put a clearance sticker on it, go for it. The things you can control, these are really important. Having a positive attitude. That requires caffeine for us, but no, it's yeah. Wear deodorant. No, I'm serious.
Look, okay, all right. True fact. First time I wear hippy dippy deodorant when I'm at home chilling out for cons. I bust out like the super strength stuff because I want to be fresh. I'm sorry.
No one's gonna come and talk to you if you smell terrible. Shower every day, guys. But also engaging people, being friendly. If your hair's
and that is me, and I hate that because I really want to talk to people, but I gotta work.
Yeah.
I need a sign that says "Talk to me. I'm working on commissions."
But and this is real sales talk, guys. When you can engage someone, when you can stand up and put the things in their hands, that makes them like twice as likely to buy stuff because they're looking at it. They're like, oh,
it's already in their hands.
Well, yeah, it's already in their hands, so it's not like a decision to pick it up. It's already there. When you're engaging, you can. A lot of people actually do want to be sold too. You can kind of nudge them a little bit, being like, oh, I can't decide if I want this. Be like, well, it would look really good on your wall, or
it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
You're only going to have your 13 and your 5-year-old in adorable matching cosplays, possibly once. You should totally get a scout.
Yeah. Pushing people a little bit. Like I said, sometimes people really want to be pushed. That really does make a difference.
Do not bark. Do not say, hey, I got a sale over here. Or, hey, Kuranosuke, you should come over and buy my Princess Jellyfish stuff. Like, just please don't do that.
Yeah.
The other artists will hate you. The person you're yelling at will probably come over because they feel guilty, but they'll resent you.
Yeah. Generally, as people walking past, just kind of look at hello is usually good enough. 3 minutes. Make the best of whatever happens. We've had some terrible cons. I'm trying to terrible cons. Try to get enough sleep. Not always enough, but at least try to get 6 hours. And then resources. This is the big one. How to be a con artist at tumblr.com.
We've got cards. They're free for you. Come take them.
Ones, please take them. I spent many years designing, or many hours designing them.
Too long designing.
We also, Artist Alley Network International on Facebook.
I think How to Be a Con Artist is technically a sister Tumblr with AA Toast now because there's a lot of inter-posting.
Yeah. There's convention scene, that's the place to find where conventions are. And then Becca does convention reviews, but we've switched to mostly How to Be a Con Artist.
I post them to How to Be a Con Artist afterwards. We don't have much time for questions, unfortunately.
We've been answering them kind of as we
chatting.
go.
If you guys have anything pressing, go ahead and ask. If not, head back to our tables in a minute.
Actually, no, I'm going to go to the bathroom first. Then we can head back to our table.
Oh, thank you guys for coming. I'm sorry we were not as coherent. Oh, and if it's fast, you missed something or whatever, I'm going to be posting the videos to my YouTube channel.
Artist Alley 101.
I've had people not come back to second.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, sure thing. I checked out the card.
Hang out back here.
Like a $1 short.
I am such a sucker. I'm like, sure. I'm like,
What did you have? Like,
yes. If they're spending such a I'll like make a deal. $5 off.
So it is okay to do that? Yeah. Okay. I know they're horrible. Can I get it? Are you guys pretty? Can I get it? And then about the stories you were saying, I got all that. And that's like adorable and fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, or aspiring artist, that's what they call it. Starting artist. I'm like, really? You're going to tell your child that? Don't go do your own thing. Be a mess. Don't just be a salad.
What bothers me is more don't make like that.
But you can song
My parents were very they're supportive now. When I was growing up, it was always like, well, you gotta do your art. Yeah, it's like, well.
I was always told you're wasting your life.
I was like watching on, I was like, oh, my Yaya sells this stuff, her money, she bought a house with her money. Or
It's awesome.
He's like yeah.
I still love that.
just tell them up front, I don't think
I'm sorry. Voted on, like, you will get to that point.
Thank you guys for coming.
But that one day you probably may get to that point because it like stung at someone's
Oh, but
face.
I worked there for 8 years, and they've just been, working there is way different than shopping. Working there, they are quite,